My name is Oliver Brown, and one of my favourite TV shows of all time is Doctor Who. It was the very first series that I ever watched, but when I saw Resurrection of the Daleks, starring Peter Davison, the Fifth Doctor, for the first time, I fell in love with the Daleks despite being 5 at the time. And every single day at school, I would always impersonate a Dalek. Even though I still preferred the 60s and 70s era of the show, I grew up with the 80s, so you could say that I have a soft spot for this era. And when the series came to an end in 1989, I was completely devastated. However, my parents told me that something very special was coming, and for that Christmas I got the Dapol, Davros and Dalek army set, and I was thrilled and played with that set all the time as a kid. I still have the set, but both Davros and the Daleks have seen better days, and although I have recently purchased a new unopened set off eBay, I have upgraded to collecting Monday Dalek figures from Character Options and Product Enterprise, but this story is not about my collection or my days of collecting Dalek figures. No, I have another story to tell relating to the Daleks, but trust me, it's uncanny. I suppose you have probably heard about classic Doctor Who episodes that have gone missing and fans worldwide are on the lookout. Well, that's me. I'm one of them. Well, I was. Hence why I got a job at the BBC Television Centre working in the archives, in hope that someday I will find a lost episode. Well, on the 21st of December 2012, my wish was granted. I was cleaning out in the archives, filling in for someone who normally did all the cleaning but wasn't in that day, and while dusting in the cupboard, I noticed something. It appeared to be an old dusty tape with a label on it that read Scream of the Daleks. I know the names of all the missing episodes, but this did not ring a bell. However, regardless, I was very excited because I had finally found a lost Doctor Who episode, so I put it in my bag, but during my shift I tried to remember where I had heard the name, but nothing came to mind. When I got home, I looked the episode up to see what it was all about, but to my surprise, it never came up. It wasn't listed anywhere. It wasn't in Hartnell's era nor Troughton's, and it wasn't mentioned in the list of missing episodes. Hell, there was even one website that said, the episode Scream of the Daleks does not exist. I looked at it again. Could this have been a very bad episode? A story so bad that everyone just wanted to forget about it? Did something happen that was unacceptable back then, but would be today? Well, there was only one way to find out. Play the tape and see. I placed the tape in the VCR, and as soon as I hit play, there was static to begin with, and the opening title that started with Hartnell's, and then changed to Troughton's halfway through. The name of the episode, Scream of the Daleks, came up, but not by Terry Nation, who wrote most of the earliest Dalek episodes, but by someone called 4 Mill, a guy who I've never heard of. 4 Mill? That's a weird name, I thought to myself. But when the episode begun, I was expecting it to be in black and white. However, to my surprise, it was in colour. The screen went to static again, and then it showed a futuristic city, to which I assume it was the Dalek city on Skaro. Soon there was more static, and instead of coming to the TARDIS, it went straight to the Daleks, and as expected, it was the classic silver and blue, and although I'm used to seeing them in black and white, it was nice to see these Daleks in colour for a change. And it was at this time that I noticed something to be wrong. You see, in a lot of Doctor Who episodes that feature the Daleks, there is a beeping noise in the background in a city on Skaro or Dalek spaceship. That beeping noise is apparently meant to be the Dalek heartbeat. Well, That wasn't present at all. There was a heartbeat, yes, but it sounded more like a human heartbeat, and very realistic for a program that was made in the 60s. But it wasn't the only thing that was off. Two of the Daleks were at a massive screen, and one of them started to speak, and the voices sounded wrong too. The prisoner is on the run! The Dalek Supreme will be here in 50 rows! Bring that whore back! I obey! What the hell? That didn't sound like Peter Hawkins or David Graham. These voices sounded too new series-esque. And one of the Daleks said whore, a word that was never heard in the series. If this was the reason why the episode was aired once and never seen again, and people just wanted to forget about it, I don't blame them. I was confused, and in hindsight I should have turned the video off had I known of what was to come next. There was static once again, and instead of the next scene being the TARDIS, it was outside the city, and there I spotted a woman who appeared to be running for her life. I couldn't tell who it was. She seemed to be in her early 40s. She had violent bruises and bleed markings on her body, and they didn't look like makeup. They looked real. She also seemed to be crying, which is common in the series, because the characters often cry when they are scared of the Daleks or any other monster, unless you're Karen Gillan, who gets emotional about everything anyways. But this woman was realistically crying. Then I heard a voice that made both me and her jump. Halt! Stay where you are! Do not move! We have you now, bitch! The Daleks had caught her, and they used another word that doesn't belong there. I was starting to get anxious. The doctor should have come in by now, I thought. Where is he? The Daleks may be my favourite monsters, but when the doctor was there, I felt safe because I knew that he would defeat them in the end, and everything would be alright. But this time, for some reason, he wasn't showing up, and I felt vulnerable without him. Static again, and the woman was now tied to a chair, and the Daleks were torturing her, and their eye stalks, instead of being white, were a blood red colour. Then an alarm started beeping loudly and realistically,